Hello and welcome to this Cradle AI tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to integrate Zapier with Cradle AI. Zapier is one of the most popular automation platforms in the world, and it integrates really well with Cradle. Together, you can use Cradle AI to extract data from any document and Zapier to automate the process in which you connect the extracted data with other apps. So in this tutorial, our example will be two SAPs. In the first one, we're going to create a SAP where the trigger is a new email in an inbox, where the attachment of that email, which might be an invoice, a bill of lading, a receipt, a purchase order, some kind of document. In our example, it will be a receipt. When we receive that attachment in our inbox, Cradle AI will automatically fetch it and extract the data. And then we're going to create another SAP where we take that extracted data when the parse is complete in Cradle and export that into our Google Sheets. I'm really excited about this and can't wait to show you how it's done. So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing you're going to have to do is to get yourself a Cradle account. You can use a freemium account where you get 100 data extractions for free. So just go to Cradle AI and then you're going to go to login. Now, I already have an account, so just go through the steps to create an account, and then you will meet me here. In this view, you're not going to see the same models that I have, but just go ahead and click New Model. Now, the next step we're going to do is simply to go on click, and we're going to click on AI Model. And then we're going to choose what kind of AI model we want to use. Now, you can start from scratch if you have, custom documents where you can't find one of our pre-made templates for. And but I'm going to go with the receipt model in this example. The advantage of using a pre-trained model versus one from scratch is that you don't really have to train them that much. A custom model, you need to show it your own custom documents and tell the model what to look for. You need to do that for several documents. But with a pre-trained model, you could just start right away. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to, these are our fields we want to extract from our receipt. It's the vendor name, the purchase date, the VAT amount, and the total amount. And you can freely remove or add these fields as you like. Now, I'm perfectly happy with these ones. So what I'm going to do is just create them. And then you just need to wait for the setup to complete. And that's pretty much everything we need to do in Cradle for now. We can now head over to Zapier as soon as this is finishing adding its touches. There we go. Now, this is good. Let's go over to Zapier. Okay, we're now in Zapier and we're going to get started with making our flow. So the first thing you're going to do is to create a new SAP. And as our trigger, we're going to choose Gmail. And the event we want is a new email in our specified mailbox. Connect your account. I've already done that. And I'm going to use my inbox, just my regular inbox, as the mailbox that will trigger the SAP, but you can choose any you like. And then we're going to go ahead and test that. All right, so I have quite a few emails in my inbox, so that worked well. One thing you want to make sure is that when you test your Gmail integration here, make sure that you have sent yourself an email with an attachment where the attachment is the file that in the receipt that you want to actually parse, because we're going to select that part of our email very soon. So make sure you do that. Right, so for our action, we're going to use Cradle AI. Now there's two different actions you can choose here. There's parse document and there's parse document with human in the loop. For most use cases, you're going to want parse document with human in the loop. Now the difference between the two is that parse document will just extract data from your document, and it's not really going to care whether it's correct or not before it exports it. Now, this is good in some situations where you might, for example, just want to help your users by saving them a bit of time by extracting something and just give them something out of the box, right? It might not be correct, but they can correct that later. But what you usually want to do is parse document with human in the loop. And what that means is that if the AI is unsure whether it got the prediction right or not, it will wait for you to come and correct it. You'll be notified that there's a correction. You need to inspect the prediction and make sure it's right before it exports it to your destination. That way, you're never going to have any errors in your export. So that's the one we're going to choose. And then go ahead. We're going to connect our Cradl account to Zapier. And to do that, we go to Cradl, and for the trigger, we're going to add Zapier. That will give us a client ID and a client secret. So you want to copy those into their respective input fields, like so, and then connect. There we go. We're going to save that in Cradl, and then we're going to go back to Zapier, and then we're going to add our action. Now, this is a little bit confusing because of all the different things you can choose from your email response. But what we want to actually parse from our email, it's not like the header or the body, it's the attachment. And in order to designate the attachment, we're going to have to first choose that we want the field called attachment 1 attachment exists but not shown. And for the file name, you can choose the attachment 1 file name. That's the one, and it will actually give you the name of the document as well, so that you won't have to be confused whether you chose the right one or not. And then for our model, we're going to choose my receipts model, and then we're going to test this step. Great, that worked. So now I'm just going to give a name to my SAP. Parse email attachment with Cradl AI. I'm going to go and publish that. And then we're going to go back, and then we're going to see how that went in Cradl. So we're going to go over to the validator. Now, remember when we chose parse document with human in the loop? If we just chose parse document, this would be just automatically exported to our export destination, which will be our sheets. But we don't want to do that. We want to have, just make sure if the AI isn't sure, that it will ask for our corrections so that we make sure everything is correct. And that's what the validator does. It asks you to validate documents if necessary. Here we can have a look at how the prediction went. And we can see that the vendor name is correct. That was La Baguette. The purchase date is correct. There's no VAT on the actual receipt, so that's an empty field, so that's correct. And the total amount is also correct. But you can see that the VAT amount was, the AI had a confidence score of 88%, which is why I needed to do this. And then we're going to go ahead and validate that. All right, so that's now done, and we're going to have to set up our export destination first. And we're going to do that, we're going to go to Zapier. And that's basically now creating the SAP where we listen for the Cradl event where a document has been validated. And this validated document will then be, it will trigger our SAP and export the extracted data from Cradl into Google Sheets. So that's what we're going to set up right now. And to do that, we're going to use Cradl AI as our action, and we're going to use document parsing completed. We're already connected. And then we have to choose the values that we just make sure that they connect correctly. And then we can see here that we managed to get the data. And then we're gonna set up the Google Sheets action. Here's the spreadsheet, by the way. You need to have a spreadsheet prepared. I've created a very simple spreadsheet where the headers correspond to the fields that I want to extract from my receipts. So that's vendor, date, VAT amount, and total amount. All right. So let's go back to Zapier, and the event we want is to create a spreadsheet row. We're already connected, and now we have to designate the file that we want to use. So in Google Drive, I have my extracted receipts sheet. And here we have to, now we're gonna, so Cradl AI, when it has extracted data from the receipt, it will give you a JSON response, which has a lot of different fields. And we only want the values that correspond to like vendor name, VAT amount, date, and so on. Now, all those fields will also have a lot of other data connected to it, like the confidence score, but that's not really what we want to write into our Excel sheet. We want to write the actual value that we extracted, right? So we're going to now find that for each of our Excel columns. So I'm going to move myself a bit here so that we can see. The fields we're looking for, they're always called validated predictions and then the value. So for example, the vendor is going to be validated predictions vendor value. And then it's for the date, it's going to be validated predictions purchase date value. And you will see like the actual value next to the like selections here. So you will know which one is the correct one. Now, VAT was blank, right? So that's going to have no data. And then finally, for total amount, it's going to be validated predictions, total amount value, which is 10.95. I'm going to click continue. And then we're going to test the step. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to just name our SAP. And then we're going to go and check the result in our Excel sheet. Okay, I'm going to publish it. All right. Now let's go over to our sheet and see whether that worked. And there we go. Everything looks correct. The vendor name is La Baguette. The date is correct. VAT is blank because it didn't exist in our receipt. And our total amount is $10.95. Cool. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something from it that might be useful to you. Maybe you got some inspiration for some apps that you would like to make. Yeah, enjoy your day and see you in the next tutorial.